This segment's going to be dedicated to the quote-unquote name guy. Cougs' favorite guy in every fantasy league.
Favorite guy. Name guy.
Dez Bryant is trying out for the Baltimore Ravens. Immediate reaction, go.
Okay, my immediate reaction was I looked to see if he was available just to be funny in my one dynasty league because I have so many Ravens players, and it would only be right that I leveled it out with a washed up old Dez Bryant just to be funny.
That was the one we drafted on here.
Yeah, there was nobody worth dropping though. Immediate response mentally was why? Why does this guy keep popping up in my newsfeed? You had 3 good years. I don't know how to explain it. Like T.O., Chad Ochocinco, those guys dragging their careers through the mud in the last few years that they had in the league, that made a little more sense. But barely. And those are 2 great examples of no matter how good you were at your peak, you still you still have to fall off that cliff eventually. Because Christian said it best in our last pod. Father Time doesn't take a day off. So we can go through his numbers. All I want to focus on is 2012, 2013, 2014, his 3 best years. In those 3 years, he was amazing. And if you told me that, if you expanded those 3 years and said that was his whole career, I would say absolutely he's worth something. But now let's dig in after. In 2015, 2016, 2017, healthy for the better part of all of those seasons. And in 2017, he was healthy for every single game. So 2017 being his most recent healthy season, here's some numbers for you guys. 838 receiving yards, 6 total touchdowns, 132 targets, and only 69 receptions. 69 out of 132 targets. I mean, to me, that sounds like that's not a quarterback issue. You're getting targets. You know, a lot of these guys, we see them fall off because their target shares fall. Another guy gets in the room. He had a ton of targets, and he didn't capitalize. So I'm all the way out on this.
Yeah, I don't even think he's worth the waiver ad, because not only are you looking to add a player that has not taken a snap in 2 full seasons, 2018, 2019, missed it all.
And we just talked about the contact piece, guys. It's real. If you're going 2 years without actual play.
Well, on the conditioning point, we recall the last time he stepped in an NFL facility with a job, correct? When he was with the Saints?
With the Saints.
And he tore his Achilles on the first day of practice.
Oh, and that's goes by the way we're talking about just his numbers right now. I wasn't even thinking about the fact the last time the guy wore cleats for a team.
Yeah, for a couple
he
hours.
Tore his Achilles.
In New Orleans, yeah.
And that's just with the year off or whatever it was. But more importantly, he's now coming back. So after a down 2017, a year total off of football, then a little resurgence when he got to go to the Saints.
Resurgence? He was there for one...
he was there for like 3 hours.
A blip. I'll call it a blip, okay? But now you're talking about an injury that most people don't come back from. So you're taking a washed-up guy with an injury that he got in the middle of his hiatus, and you're still saying that there's value there? I mean, you know what? Shout out to his agent for keeping his name in the headlines. That's money. I get that. But I have zero faith that he will be anything in 2020. And if he is, I will hold a sign on a street corner and say that I was wrong about Dez Bryant for 1 full day.
Yeah.
You have my word.
I don't really disagree with any of these takes here. His last full season, he was 29 years old. He's going to be 32 this November. He hasn't played since 2017. It's been 3 years.
And let's not.
And obviously, he's coming back from a huge injury. I mean, for me, listen, I'm a guy who will draft or pick up guys off the waiver wire just for no reason whatsoever, just because their name is there. I just want him in case something happens as a safety blanket. But yeah, for this one, I read it and I was like, next.
Yeah, hard pass.
Okay, sure. The Ravens do need a little bit of help in the pass catching game. We don't know what Marquise Brown is going to be. You know, Mark Andrews was very touchdown reliant from a fantasy perspective last year in terms of getting points, but I don't think Dez is very fantasy reliable. And for me, my last memory of Dez Bryant is the Hard Knocks episode.
Hey,
I'm Dez.
I'm Dez.
Hey, I'm Dez. Hey, I'm signing a helmet in Cleveland Hopkins Airport. I'm Dez. Nice to meet you. Yeah, this is pass. Sorry, I'm out.
We mentioned when we talked about AJ Green last week that if you have entire presidencies between being fantasy productive, he's probably not a best fit for your team. And that was when AJ Green had one productive season in the last 4 years. Dez Bryant hasn't had a productive fantasy season since Obama was in office.
The presidency line is going to stick for a while for me because there's so many guys you can throw in that category. I mean, we're up to 3 now: Josh Gordon, AJ Green, and now Dez Bryant. Like, just stop, guys.
There's so many players that are retired that have had more recent productive fantasy seasons than Dez Bryant. And so not only do you have a long layoff between actual fantasy-worthy production between 2014 and now, you have the injury history where he's coming off an injury, has been basically denied an opportunity by both the Cowboys and then via injury, the Saints. But he's also joining an offense that we mentioned doesn't throw the ball.
Right, and he's not known for blocking.
I just can't see any scenario where Dez Bryant steps onto the field in 2020 and makes fantasy owners thankful that they picked him up.